All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig in a Pickle Krueg show with a little live stream, well, actually a little recorded NFL mock draft. And we're going to use the NFL mock draft database simulator, not Pro Football Focus, not some of the others. We're going to go right now. We're going to go in fast mode, and we'll just see where we're at. Now, the 49ers picked 99, 101, 102, 155, 164, 173, 216, 222, 247, 253, 255. Now, I intentionally chose this mock draft because it gives you lots of trade options, and I will be trading back 4 extra picks on day 3 if there's not a player that I want. So here we go. We're going to start it, and away we go. All right. So I have it in fast mode. It's going to roll down, and then as soon as it gets to pick number 99, the Niners will be on the clock. And the very first thing I'm going to do when I see the Niners are on the clock is I'm going to check out what trades are available to us. And then we're also going to check out who's the best player on the board and have an idea. Okay, we have 6 trade offers. 6 trade offers. All right, so we have the 3rd round pick for a 7th, a 4th, and a 6th next year. That's easy to reject. Reject. Now we have a pick for our 3rd for a 4th from Kansas City and a 4th and a 6th next year. Reject. Our 3rd for a 4th and a 6th next year from the Dolphins. Reject. Our 3rd for the Cardinals' 4th, which is only moving back 6 spots, plus their 5th round pick next year and their 7th round pick next year. That's intriguing, but I'll reject. Now we've got this one. You can go from 99 to 127. You also get a 6th round pick, and then you get their 4th, 6th, and 7th next year from Jacksonville. I'll reject that. And then we have this one from Baltimore, the 3rd round pick for their 5th round pick and their 4th round pick. So I'm going to say reject. So I'm going to reject all offers. So let's see who's on the board. And I may trade back at any point, but I didn't like any of those trades. So who's on the board that I kind of like? Well, I like Zach Harrison, 5-star defensive end prospect for Ohio State. DJ Turner ran this incredible 40 time and he's a cornerback. Obviously, that's a position in need. Eli Ricks doesn't run great, but he's a big corner. That's interesting. And then you have Jamie Robinson there and Jalen Duncan, the tackles. So do you go tackle? Do you go, this is kind of a tough call. Jair Brown's a good safety. But I think I like Zach Harrison quite a bit. But since I like the depth of that, I'm going to go with Jamie Robinson to start off. So Jamie Robinson, I think, is a culture player. I'm going to draft him to get it going. All right, so now we make Jamie Robinson our first pick in the draft. Now we're at our next pick, which is 101, just 2 picks later, and we have 2 more trade offers. We can trade the 3rd round pick to the Cardinals for a 6th round pick and a 4th next year. That's an easy reject. No. We can also move the 3rd round pick to the New York Giants for 3 picks in next year's draft. That's a no. So now we're going to pick. And since we're 1 pick, 2 picks behind our last pick, we've got basically the exact same board. So I'm looking at Zach Harrison from Ohio State. I'm looking at Jalen Duncan from Maryland. John Lynch, maybe looking at Tanner McKee. Garrett Williams from Syracuse is an interesting player. Trevius Hodges Tomlinson's a good corner from TCU. Jair Brown's a safety, but now that you drafted Jamie Robinson, you don't really have the need for Jair Brown. So Zach Pickens is a defensive tackle I like quite a bit. He's there. Schoonmaker is a very intriguing tight end. Jacorian Bennett is a good corner, and you could definitely use corners. Zach Kuntz, some interesting names there for sure. Jaron Hall, the BYU quarterback. Yaya Diaby is interesting as far as an edge rusher. Now let's take a look. If we went, let's just let's go with Zach Harrison. He was a 5-star recruit out of high school. He's got prototypical size and speed. This guy ran 4.47 at 270 pounds. Really like him. Zach Harrison. Now we pick right away again. So now we can trade. We've got 4 trade offers. The Rams are calling. They want our 3rd round pick. They're offering 2 picks in the 5th round and their 4th round pick next year. Do I want that? It's intriguing. I'm going to reject that one. This one is interesting. This is the Bears calling, and they want this pick, and they're offering their 4th round pick and their 5th round pick next year to move 1 spot. I'm taking that. I'm accepting that. I'm moving 1 spot down, and I'm getting a 4th round pick this year, and I'm getting a 5th round pick next year. Absolutely, I'm doing that. Okay, so now I'm at 103. And Jacksonville's calling. I've got 4 trade offers. I can trade my 3rd for a 4th, a 6th, and then next year I would have a 5th, 2 6ths, and a 7th. Wow. So I could move down basically 24 spots for 5 extra draft choices. That's interesting. Let's hold off on that for a second. We also can trade it to the Cardinals for a 4th and a 6th. Next year, that's a reject. We can trade it to Jacksonville for 127 in the 4th round, 208 in the 6th round, and 4 picks next year. We can trade it this year for a 7th and a 4th and 5th next year. I'll reject that from the Falcons. And now I've got the Jaguars offer, and the Texans are offering. Wait a second. So the Texans are offering. Now this is interesting. The Niners have picked 103. The Texans are offering basically the next pick, the first pick of the 4th round. But there'll be a day in between. So this will be like the Texans wanting a player tonight that's on the board. If you move 1 spot down, you get a 5th round pick in this year's draft and a 6th and a 7th in next year's draft. I'm going to accept that. I'll move 1 spot down for 3 extra picks. There you go. So that means that day 1 provided nothing. Day 2 provided Jamie Robinson and Zach Harrison. But now on day 3, I'm situated with, let's see, how many picks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I have 11 more picks. I'm going to have 13 picks overall. All right. So now I'm in pick 104. And I can take whoever I want. Who's on the board now? I've got my edge rusher taken, and I've got a safety taken. So I still need a corner. I still could use a tight end. I still need a tackle. So Jalen Duncan is there from Maryland. I don't think there's going to be anybody on the board that's going to be better than him. I'll go down a little bit. Zach Pickens is interesting from South Carolina. Jacorian Bennett, I like from Maryland as well, the corner. Isaiah McGuire is a good edge rusher. A couple quarterbacks there, Jake Hayner, Jaron Hall, Yaya Diaby, but I already got the edge rusher. I like Ali Gay, but I already got the edge rusher. Yeah, I think I like Jonathan Mingo. I like Payne Durham. They're further down the board. So, yes, I am going to go back, and I'm going to take the tackle out of the University of Maryland, Jalen Duncan, at pick 104. All right. So now we're down to pick 133. Let's see. We've got so far our tackle taken care of, and we've got an edge rusher, and we've got a safety. So we still need a corner, but we're doing pretty good. All right. Now we have pick number in the 4th round, pick number 133. And if I'm willing to move back 5 spots, I can get a 7th and next year's 6th. I don't know. I don't know if I like that. Let me see that. Let me go to the next one. The Raiders are calling. They're offering a pick that's 8 picks away, and they're offering a 5th and a 6th. Okay. What's the 3rd offer? The 3rd offer is the Bengals are calling, offering next year's 4th and 5th. So I'm going to reject that for sure. Do I go down 5 spots to pick up a 7th and a 6th round pick next year? Probably not. I'll reject that. Do I go down Do I go down 8 spots to pick up a 5th and a 6th? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to move from 133 to 141 and pick up an extra 5th and 6th round pick. All right. I like it. Now I'm at pick 141. Saints are calling, offering their 4th and 6th next year. I reject that. I've got 5 trade offers. The Buccaneers are calling. They're offering a pick that's 12 picks down, and then I get another 5th and another 6th. Ooh, that's interesting. Lions are offering next year's 6th. No. Tampa is offering a 5th, 2/5 and a 6th this year to move down 8 spots. That's interesting. Bears are offering next year's 6th to move down 7 spots. No, I'm not going to say no to that. Do I take the extra 5th and 6th from Tampa? The Giants are also offering a 5th. I got to go down 31 spots, a 6th, a 7th, and next year's 4th. I'll reject that. So now it's just, do I take Tampa? Let's see. I'm saying no to the Jacksonville offer. Do I take Tampa's offer? Do I go from 141 to 153 and pick up an extra 5th and an extra 6th? I'm going to reject that and just pick. All right, so we're at 141 right now. Zach Pickens is on the board. They could go defensive tackle here, which would be very valuable. I like that one. You can go corner here with Jacorian Bennett. That's interesting. Deuce Vaughn, tiny little back, probably a little too high for Deuce Vaughn. Jake Hayner, Jaron Hall, 2 quarterbacks. Do you go with a quarterback here? Probably not. Probably going to be on the practice squad all year. Ali Gay, Braden Daniels from Utah is interesting. Ronnie Bell. Man, there's a lot of interesting names here. Payne Durham from Purdue. Bryce Ford Wheaton. That's intriguing. McClendon Curtis is an intriguing player. So let's take a look. Now let's look at some specific positions. At corner, Jacorian Bennett is the highest rated guy. And it's starting to get down to thin pickings at corner. And that is a definite position of need. D-line, there's Pickens. There's Dante Stills, who the Niners have talked to. Dawan Johnson, who I like a lot. How about tight end? What is tight end looking like? Kuntz, Payne Durham. Interior, offensive line. I like McClendon Curtis. Wow. This is a tough call. I think at this point, I've got the safety, the edge rusher, the offensive tackle. I think I'm going Jacorian Bennett. I think I'm going the corner from Maryland. All right, now I'm at pick 144. I have 3 trade offers. I can go to the trade with Washington for a 6th and a 7th next year. I'll reject that. I can go from 144 to 199 for a 7th next year. From Baltimore, I'm rejecting that. I can drop down from 144 to 190 for a 7th with the Browns. I'm rejecting that. All right, so I'm picking. And let's take a look. Let's see who's on the board. All right, so I have right now a safety, an edge rusher, an offensive tackle, a cornerback. Now I'm starting to look for best available, and I really like Pickens from South Carolina. I kind of like Jaron Hall, the quarterback, as well from BYU. Baldonado, the defensive end from Pitt. Payne Durham, I really like him. Bryce Ford Wheaton, a burning receiver. Now I'm starting to think DTR. Am I going DTR? Do I go offensive line here? I already got a tackle. Do I go corner again? Do I go speed at running back? I really like Keaton Mitchell. I think I'm going to start going best player available, and I'm going to take Zach Pickens out of South Carolina. You never can have enough big boys inside. All right, now we're at pick number 155, and Tampa's calling. They want it, and they're offering their 4th, 5th, and 7th next year. No. The Raiders are calling. They're offering a 7th and a 4th and 6th next year. No. The Rams are calling. Now, this one is intriguing. The Rams are calling, offering 22 pick move down in the 5th round, and then they give me 2 6th, a 7th, their 4th and 7th next year. And Jacksonville's calling, and they say if I move back basically 50 spots, they'll give me a 6th and 4th next year. So it's really, do I move from 155 down to 177 and pick up 2 6ths, a 7th, and 2 picks next year? Wow. That's a tough call. I think I'm going to do it. So I can just have an abundance of picks. So I'm moving down. I've got a lot of players on the board. I'm now at pick 161. The Texans are offering their 2 4ths, a 5th, and a 7th next year to move back. I'm going to reject that. Buccaneers are offering their 4th round pick next year, a 6th this year, and they're offering 2 4th round picks next year and a 6th this year to move down 20 spots. I'm going to reject that. Cowboys are offering 2 4th round picks next year and a 6th round pick next year. I'm going to reject that. Raiders are offering a 4th round pick and a 6th round pick, 2 4th round picks and a 6th round pick next year. I'm going to say no to that. And Jacksonville is offering a 6th round pick this year and 2 4ths next year. I'm going to reject that. So here we are. We're in the 5th round. We're 161. We've already got a safety, an edge rusher, an offensive tackle, a corner, and a defensive tackle. So we got 5 players. And look how many picks we have left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I got 13 picks left, and I've already drafted 5 guys. I mean, if I miss on 2 or 3 picks here, I'm still going to have just a stacked, loaded roster. And if I can hit on these picks, I'm going to be the deepest team in pro football. Now, I may also have too deep of a team, but you know what? I've never worried about that. So let's go best available. Let's see who's out there who's available. Isaiah McGuire, edge rusher. Kuntz, the 6'8" tight end who ran incredibly well, is intriguing. Deuce Vaughn is an electric return guy. We're now at pick number 161. Jake Hayner's there. Charlie Jones is there. Ali Gay from LSU's there. A lot of interesting names. Payne Durham. Might be time for the tight end. But you know what? Now that I got this many picks, I'm gambling on some big-time speed. I'm going to take Bryce Ford Wheaton out of West Virginia. All right? And I'm just going to – I think I'm going to just reject these trades. Well, yeah, I'm going to reject both those trades. I got enough picks now. Now I'm in pick mode. I got pick number 164. And I've got a wide receiver, a D lineman, a corner, an offensive tackle, an edge rusher, and a safety. And Bryce Ford Wheaton, by the way, really runs fast. We're talking about 4.38 at 225 pounds. Now I'm looking for difference makers, guys who I really think potentially could be, star players for me. I really like this kid McClendon Curtis out of Chattanooga, but do I go with him? I like Terrell Smith a lot from Minnesota. Do I go another corner? But I'm going to go speed here. I like Keaton Mitchell from East Carolina. This guy is unbelievably fast, and there's just no way I want to come out of this draft without having that speed back. And this guy's an incredible speed back. Now I've got pick 173. Patriots are offering 2 6th, the next year's 6th to move down. That would be moving down 15 spots. I'll reject that. Ravens are offering their 4th and 6th next year. I'm going to reject that. The Raiders are offering their 7th, 2 7th round picks next year to move 1 spot. I'm doing that. I'll go from 173 to 174 for 2 7th round picks next year. All right, so now I'm at 174. Packers are offering 2/7, a fourth, and a sixth. I'm going to reject that. Kansas City's offering to move back 4 spots, a sixth and a seventh. I'm going to reject that. Cowboys offering a fourth and a sixth next year. I'm going to reject that. Cardinals are offering a sixth this year and their fourth and seventh next year. I'll reject that. Jacksonville's calling. They're offering a 9-pick move up, offering their sixth. I'm going to reject that. And the Raiders are offering their fourth and sixth next year for this pick. I'm going to reject that. All right, so here we go. We got pick number 174. And now we can, once again, we're going to look at best players on the board. What have we gotten done? We've got a safety, an edge rusher, an offensive tackle, a corner, a defensive tackle, a wide receiver, and a running back. And we just got 2 of the fastest guys. We got one of the fastest receivers, and we got one of the fastest running backs. So now what are you looking for? Well, I'm looking for players who can absolutely play. And I'm a big fan. Well, let's see. Is the tight end gone? I guess the tight end's gone. Let's see. What tight end is on the board? Kuntz is there. And I do want a tight end, but man, I'm not seeing one here that I really love. You could go with the offensive tackle, Saul DeVary, but you already got an offensive tackle. You go with another edge rusher, which is always intriguing. I think I'm going to go edge rusher here. I think I'm going to go with Jose Ramirez out of Eastern Michigan. To me, this guy is just really, really special. I know he's a little light, but man, had the best 3-cone drill at the combine, looked incredible in the All-Star game. This guy can flatten to the quarterback, and he's got explosive traits. He's only about 250, so he's not ideal, but man, he's such an intriguing edge rusher. I'm going to take him. All right, so now I got pick 177. What do I do here? I basically got almost everything I want to get here. Now I'm looking for upside and guys who are passed over. I like this McClendon Curtis from Chattanooga. So gives me another big offensive lineman. This guy he's a guard. He played guard at Chattanooga. He's from Chattanooga. So he went to school in his backyard where he grew up. But he's got long arms. I think this guy's got right tackle potential. All right, now Seattle's offering their 5th-round pick next year to move up with the Niners. I'm rejecting that. And let's see what else. Who else is on the board that we would absolutely want at this point? Gone offensive line a couple times. Do you go Stetson Bennett sitting there? That's intriguing. Do you go with the quarterback? You don't have a quarterback. Who's the best quarterbacks on the board? You got Bennett, Max Duggan, Malik Cunningham. Well, I like. Not a lot of quarterbacks, that's for sure. Tight end wise, a lot of the top tight. Braden Willis is probably the best tight end left. There's not a lot of tight ends there, that's for sure. The UCLA tight end's kind of intriguing. So you kind of missed out on some of the tight ends. I think it's a pretty deep corner market. Let's see what the corner market's looking like. Rajon Wright's nice from Oregon State. Big, tall corner, kind of has some dominant traits. And Starling Thomas from UAB is an interesting corner for sure. Let's go check out that defensive line. I just think this is a very deep group of defensive linemen. Here we go. I'm going Dawan Johnson from Toledo. Dawan Johnson is one of my favorite players in the draft. This guy's 275 pounds. If you watch him, he gets penetration. I think he can play inside. He can play outside. There we go. Now we're at pick 191, and we've got an offer from the Texans offering 201 in next year's 5th. I'll say no to that. We got the Rams offering their 4th and 2 6s from next year to give up this pick. I'm going to reject that. Cowboys are offering their 4th and 6th next year. I'm going to reject that. Seahawks are offering their 4th and 6th next year. I'm going to reject that. All right. So now we're sitting there. We've got quite a few players still. We've got what? 8 players left to choose from. Now I think we're in a mode of just going best available almost the entire rest of the draft. We got most of our needs taken care of here. Um, I like this kid right at the top of the list, Ali Gay from LSU. I mean, prototypical size and speed, 6'6". I like this kid last year in the draft. Now we're at pick 214. Texans are offering a sixth and their seventh. Next year's sixth and a seventh. I'm going to reject that. So now I'm sitting there at 214. Who do I go with here? I still haven't gone with a quarterback, so maybe I go Stetson Bennett. I actually kind of like, well, do I go offensive line here? Do I go I think I'm going corner again. I'm going to go Rajon Wright. I don't think you can go wrong with a big corner. Now I'm at pick 216. The Packers are offering 2 7th-round picks in next year's sixth to move up into the 6th round, and I'm going to reject that. So now I am on the board again at pick number 216. And I basically have done almost everything I want to do. Now, there's a tackle that I really like. There's a couple tackles that I really like, but one guy I really like is down the board here. Or maybe he's no longer on this board. I like the Illinois tackle. I don't see him here, so maybe he's already gone. Let's just see best available. So at this point, I could go Stetson Bennett, go with the quarterback. That's always intriguing. Saul DeVary, a lot of people really like him from Old Dominion. There's Max Duggan there. Not convinced on Max Duggan. Thomas Incomb's another edge rusher. I think we could probably go kicker here because this is where you absolutely just start filling needs. You got a bunch of positions left. Jake Moody from Michigan is considered the top kicker on the board. We'll go there. We'll go there at kicker. All right. So now we're going down the board a lot. Now I'm just looking for absolute sleepers and guys who I think have some traits that I really, really like. I'm going to go with Darius Davis right here. Darius Davis has absolutely flies, incredible speed. So I'm going to take a chance on some incredible speed. As you can see here, Darius Davis, speed. Keaton Mitchell, speed. Bryce Ford Wheaton, speed. So I like speed on my team. All right, I think at this point I'm going to go Stetson Bennett. I think I'm going to go Stetson Bennett because now I've got a backup quarterback who I think I know has played big time football. Now I still have 3 picks left. Now it's truly best available. And at this point, I don't think I could pass on Saul DeVary, the offensive tackle. I think that's an incredible pick. So now I've helped my offensive line with McClendon Curtis, Nick Saul DeVary, Divieri, and Jalen Duncan. So I really feel good about what I've done on my offensive line. I like Malik Cunningham. I like Deneric Prince from Tulsa, the running back. So now I'm late. Dante Stills is an interesting defensive tackle. Isaiah Land. Isaiah Land was a great player at Florida A&M. As a pass rusher, he might be a little too light. Tavius Robinson is intriguing from Miss Ole Miss. Niners met with him, but I'm going to Mikel Jones. Mikel Jones is a difference-making linebacker, special teamer. Really like Mikel Jones. And now we're with our last pick overall. And it's definitely a best player available type situation. Now we're just kind of looking to see who jumps off the board. Who's on the board still? Antonio Mafi from UCLA is interesting. Demario Douglas, but I've already done receiver to death. I've already done offensive line to death. I think I'm looking for a particular player, and here he is from Sacramento State, Marte Mapu. I really like him a lot. Let me just see it. I like Viliami Fehoko from San Jose State. So now we're debating some local guys. Um, there's some other players here on the board that I'm looking for that I'm, you know, there's Tyrus Wheat from the outside backer from Mississippi State is a player that I really really like, and I probably, if I could do this again, would have not gone with either Stetson Bennett or Darius Davis or Saul DeVere, and gone with Tyrus Wheat, because I really believe in Wheat. Wheat he's a little on the shorter side, but man, he comes flying, absolutely flying off the edge. And that to me, Joseph Nada, who's a Sacramento kid who played at Clemson, he's an interesting big-bodied receiver. But I think you might be able to get him after the draft, and the fact that he's a Sacramento kid, you might be able to sign him as an undrafted free agent and beat out other people for him. So now we're in this. As much as I like Tyrus Wheat. To me, it comes down to Tyrus Wheat or Marte Mapu, and I don't think I can pass on Marte Mapu. Um, so I'm going Marte Mapu, Sac State, Sac State kid. So the draft is complete. Um, I just saved it, and now take a look at it. So here's what it is. It's Jamie Robinson out of Florida State. And this is a loaded draft. If the Niners get this draft, the Niners are going to win a ton of games. And look at all these guys on defense. Jamie Robinson, I get an alpha for my secondary at safety, and he doesn't really need to start. He can sit behind Gibson this year. Zach Harrison, opposite Bosa, I think he might be able to be a plug and play player. Jalen Duncan could be your right tackle for the next 10 years. Got him at 104. Jacorian Bennett, I think, is in the mix among my corners, and I really like what he brings to the table. Pickens, I think, is going to make this team for sure and have an impact. Then you get guys. Now you get the spots where it's going to be really tough. Bryce Ford Wheaton is going to have a really tough time beating out, Jawan Jennings or Danny Gray, or Ray McLeod for a wide receiver spot. But he absolutely can burn, and you can never have enough guys who can run. Keaton Mitchell, I think, is in a lot of ways is kind of like Raheem Mostert. I mean, he can get to the edge at will. I think that's a sleeper pick. I love Keaton Mitchell. Jose Ramirez, undersized edge rusher, but he's absolutely going to put heat on the quarterback. McClendon Curtis is a tremendous developmental offensive lineman. Dawan Johnson's going to be a crazy steal from Toledo. I think he makes an impact right away. Ali Gay, I mean, the fact that you're almost at 200 and you get a blue chip talent like Ali Gay, another big long edge rusher. Remember this, they got about 750 snaps to replace at defensive end. And Bryant will help and Farrell will help, but they needed some more edge rushers. And in this situation, they're getting Zach Harrison, they're getting Jose Ramirez, they're getting Dawan Johnson, they're getting Ali Gay. Then they get another big suffocating corner in Rajon Wright. They get the number one kicker in the draft to compete with Zane Gonzalez and Jake Moody. You get another burner in Darius Davis, and I probably would have gone Tyrus Wheat there with that pick if I could do it again. Stetson Bennett is your fourth quarterback, and I'd really like that. I mean, you're talking about a very polished player who's ready to play if need be as your fourth string quarterback. Now you're getting into serious sleeper territory. Saul DeVere from Old Dominion. I know Brad Graham's a big fan of his. I watched his film for like a half hour the other night. I like him. I don't know that he's going to be there at 247. Mikel Jones is an undersized, hyperactive linebacker who just loves to hit, lives to hit. He's a culture player. Love that pick. And then Marte Mapu. Is he a strong safety? Is he going to give is he going to give the Niners, a little depth at strong safety behind Hufanga? Or is Marte Mapu going to be a free, a weak side linebacker who's just outstanding in coverage? his play speed and everything about Mapu is great. I love the way he plays. I love his coverage. I'll take him if he's just a special teamer, but I think Marte Mapu is going to be a very good NFL player. So that is a loaded deal. Let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 defensive players. 10 defensive players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 offensive players, and a special team player in the kicker. So it's heavy. It's relying on defense. It attacks the needs right up front. Jamie Robinson, safety, boom. Zach Harrison, edge rusher, boom. Jalen Duncan, offensive tackle, boom. Jacorian Bennett, cornerback, boom. If your 4 biggest needs are safety, corner, tackle, and edge rusher, I'm getting that out of the way early. But there was a lot of maneuvering in this draft. Not only did I get a very deep draft class, got a lot of guys that I wanted, I also got some 2024 picks. I got 2 extra 24 7th-round picks from the Raiders. I got a 2024 7th and a 2024 4th from the Rams. I got a 2024 6th and a 2024 7th from Houston. I got a 2024 5th from Chicago. So what is that? I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 7 additional picks for next year. Now that is a freaking draft. I mean, that's a draft. Now I don't know if it will be this easy to move up and down and garner this many picks and make this many trades, but 7 extra picks. This is not your compensatory picks, nor is it the picks for having people hire your minority coaches. Those are on top of. So you have 7 picks that you picked up in next year's draft. You had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. You had an 18-player draft. You added 7 picks in next year's draft. And you filled every need you have. And you're going to have next year a bonanza of a draft. I think if I'm John Lynch and this is my draft, I'm just walking right into Jed's office and saying, Jed, did you see what I did there? Did you see how I did that? I just had an 18. Is that right? Wait, is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, 18-player draft. An 18-player draft. Now, are 18 guys going to make your team? Probably not. You might have to cut somebody. But guess what? You're going to have competition in camp that's like second to none. That's an 18-player draft. All the needs have been addressed. You've acquired 7 picks for next year's draft. And you're probably going to have another 15 to 16, 17 picks in next year's draft. This draft, with all these players and with the 7 picks in next year's draft, sets you up to be the deepest team in the NFL going forward. And what I really love about it, you filled your needs, but then in the middle rounds, when you got into like the 150 range and deeper, Bryce Ford Wheaton, 6'3", he ran 4.38. Now, he doesn't play that fast, but man, that's a big, fast wide receiver. Keaton Mitchell ran in the 4.3s and is an impact speed guy for sure. Darius Davis also ran a burning time, so you've added a lot of speed. And you've added a lot of depth on defense. And you got you got a fourth quarterback. You got another running back. You really didn't have a need at the only real spot you didn't fill was tight end. I wasn't going to reach for a tight end, and I just didn't see one. I wanted Payne Durham, but he was gone, and I just wasn't going to reach for one late. So I guess if there's something to be learned from this is that maybe sneak in a tight end somewhere there in the mid rounds, right around 200. Maybe go for the tight end. But that is a draft class. Jamie Robinson, Zach Harrison, Jalen Duncan, Jacorian Bennett, the corner from Maryland, Zach Pickens from South Carolina, Bryce Ford Wheaton, West Virginia wide receiver, Keaton Mitchell, one of my favorite players in the entire draft, burning fast running back for East Carolina that could be flexed out and played at wide receiver. Jose Ramirez, I think one of the steals off the edge. Curtis McClendon, he's a guard who I think projects maybe to right tackle. Dawan Johnson from Toledo. I love Dawan Johnson. Just a penetrator, tough, 275, can play in a rotation. Ali Gay, tremendous. I mean, wait until you see Ali Gay in training camp. People are going to be like, wow, look at that guy. He's 6'6", 260, and long arms. He's like the physical prototype. Rajon Wright. The Niners have not had a big, dominant, physical man-to-man corner since Dion. And not surprisingly, they haven't won the Super Bowl since then. Rajon Wright's a big boomer bust pick. You get a top kicker. You get another home run hitter receiver in Darius Davis. You got a very polished fourth string quarterback in Stetson Bennett. Guy played his whole career in the SEC. You get a really nice sleeper offensive lineman from Old Dominion. You get a linebacker from Syracuse, who I just absolutely think is fantastic. Michael Jones will replace Azeez Al-Shaair. And then you get Marte Mapu, who's, going to be, you think Schneider, the special teams coach, is going to love Marte Mapu? And then Mapu, I think, potentially can play almost in like they want to go to like a big nickel alignment and go with a 3 safety look. He might be able to help you out there. He might be able to help you out as a stack backer, in a 5-2 front. I think Mapu could be a real steal. And if I could change any of these picks out, it would probably be get rid of Darius Davis, the speedster, for Tyrus Wheat, the edge rusher from Mississippi State. To me, that would just make it just the slam dunk of drafts. Now you've replaced Amenahue and Jordan Willis and Samson Ebukam with Zach Harrison, Jose Ramirez, Dawan Johnson, Ali Gay, and Tyrus Wheat. I mean, there's a lot of great pass rush coming off the edge in this draft, and it'll be hard not to duplicate and draft for depth. And some of these guys may miss, but not many. And that right there is how you build. 18-member draft class with 7 picks stashed away for 2024 before any compensatory picks come your way. It puts you in a great position next year to trade a bounty of picks for that one position difference maker. So you get to the end of this year. And Trent Williams says, hanging it up. I'm hanging it up. Well, guess what? You need a left tackle, but just because you just won the Super Bowl, you're picking last. But you have 7 extra picks that you traded for on day 3. And that means that with that and the compensatory selections and the picks you're getting back for coaches being hired away, you're going to have a huge draft haul, and you're going to be able to easily say to somebody, hey, we want to move into the top 10 for the best tackle in the 2024 draft. And here's our first, our second, our third, and our 4th round draft choices. And you're going to push ahead, and somebody's going to say yes. So I love this draft, not just because I made all the picks. I love this draft because it really does fill all your needs, but it sets you up in the 2024 draft to be able to trade up for the premier offensive tackle if Trent Williams rides off into the sunset. Hope you enjoyed the live stream. Hope you enjoyed the mock draft. Check out the Krueg Show on YouTube. Thanks to our title sponsor, Pig and a Pickle in Corte Madera and Emeryville. They're open 7 days a week in Marin County, Wednesday through Sunday in Corte Madera. And make sure you keep it locked on the Krueg Show all year long as we cover Niners all season long, right up and through the combine, right into training camp. And of course, we'll do a lot on the Giants and the Warrior playoff run as well, right here on the Krueg Show on YouTube.